All right, I thought I'd take you guys on a little bit of a ride today in the Mercedes after, I got all of the H&R springs and new blistening shocks put in it. And yeah, I'll get this thing fired up and pulled out of the shop here, and I'll take you guys for a little bit of a spin. All right, driving 300 SD. A lot of people here in this little town, especially after I first got it, well, I'm sure as you could tell by the video, seeing some of the cars in people's yards, a lot of people drive, big SUVs and trucks, which, I'm sure that's, more the norm for just about everywhere anymore. And, I don't get near the reaction out of this car, that I do in like bigger cities. It seems like a lot of people, in bigger cities like this car a little bit better than what they do pretty much out here in rural Kansas. But, that's really not what this video is about. I wanted to talk a little bit about, how this car does and everything else like that, after I lowered it. And, I'm here to tell you, I really don't see too much of a difference in, how this car drives, if any difference in how this car drives, after I lowered it. It does seem to handle the corners a little bit better, stuff like that. But, as far as ride quality, it is a little bit more rough going over, bumps. But, these seats in this car, they soak up, quite a bit of that. Whatever kind of vibration you're getting, through the video, air conditioning control, and a couple of other interior lights that I need to look into. But living here in Kansas, a lot of the roads are pretty straight, except every once in a while you'll come up to a corner like this, and it's sure any car can take this corner as well as this thing can, but that's just the pretty much the amount of corners that we have here where I live in Kansas. There's actually one other decent corner around here that I've taken this car around to just to see how well it does now after I lowered it, and it seems to take the corner a lot better, just because the car is lower, and it's just lower. The stability of it is quite a bit better. But basically, I just kind of wanted to show you guys really how well this car does ride after it's been lowered. A lot of people said online that, oh, if you lower that car, it's going to ride bad and not very well and all of that. Well, riding bad is it's not the same to everybody. That C55, it rides a lot more rough than this car does. But that's kind of what it was made for. It was made to go around corners fast and all of that. And now, sure, this thing might not ride as a completely sorted out S-Class from these years, but it's still not that bad. If you're thinking about doing it to your own car, honestly, I'd never second thought doing this after I'd done it. The car still rides pretty good. To me, it looks a lot cooler being this low. And I just enjoy it. No matter what anybody else says, this car still drives pretty good. I want to say it's a little bit more nimble, but I can't say that that's just because I lowered it. The car, the shocks on the back were in pretty bad shape, and any little wave in the pavement would cause this thing to just become unsettled, and it just didn't ride the best. But after putting the C55. But, you know, eventually I want to do a little bit of an overview on that car. You know, we've owned the car for 3 years now, and you know, it's been a pretty good car. You know, all in all, you know, it's had its faults. You know, I've had to get in there and replace, you know, a few things, but you know, all in all, it's been a pretty fun car, and you know, pretty reliable, you know, for what it is. You know, if you've, I'm sure, you know, if you're looking at my videos, you know, wanting to get information about, you know, that C55, you know, I'm sure you've heard before that those are probably the best, you know, AMG Mercedes to start off with, and I'm here to tell you, I couldn't agree more. That car has been, you know, pretty good for what it is. But you know, for what it is, you know, it still breaks down. You know, stuff happens, but you know, it ain't no Ferrari. You know, catching on fire because you didn't replace a fuel line, or you know, you didn't have to you know, pull the whole engine out to, you know, replace the timing belt, because you know, I'm pretty sure that that C55 has a timing chain in it and not a timing belt. I mean, that's just the reliability of, you know, a Mercedes. But you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, I hope you took away that, you know, you can, you know, lower these, you know, older Mercedes and still have them drive, you know, pretty decently. And you know, if you know, I hope, you know, if you don't get anything else out of this, you know, I hope you get that you know, you can lower it and still have it drive nice. But I suppose I'll end it off there. But you know, if you like this video, or you know, any of the other videos I've put out on this car, you know, just give me a like, and you know, subscribe to my channel. You know, I've got a lot more work to do on this one and my old Aerospec wagon, and you know, I'll have more videos to come. But hope you enjoyed it, and I guess we'll catch you in the next video.